opinions are those of the participants making them and are not an endorsement of any position, program, religion, or political affiliation. DFG's Corner is for information, observations, and entertainment. I ask that you like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Thanks, Kim.
Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. All the fly guys in the front, the fly girls in the rear. You came to the door and you expected to see me, the DFG, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, ruled as a Rolls Royce. I'm coming to you live from the 571 where I'm having fun and I'm getting things done. Tonight's show, we're going to be talking about, it's kind of a continuation from last week's show, which was girls' trips and the pitfalls and promises of those. This week, we'll be talking about jealousy versus envy. And before I go on and start this whole thing, I want to speak up my co-host. First of all, I'm going to talk about my favorite girl, the Chocolate Pearl. What's going on, Pearl?
Hey, y'all, it's Chocolate Pearl from coming to you tonight. Don't know what the topic is, but we're going to get it crack-a-lacking.
Jealousy
Hey,
versus
y'all.
envy.
You said what?
Jealousy versus envy. And next on the mic is my girl Apple. She's the New York City girl is here, so she's sweet as Snapple. Come on, Apple.
Good evening, everyone. Let's have a good show.
All right, all right, all right. Also, I wanna give shouts out to my usual family, Miss Kim. I got some my resident thespian. I got Miss Nikki on YouTube Live. I'm also on Facebook Live, IG Live, and TikTok Live. So if you want to get on, just come on. All I ask is that you keep it clean, keep it safe. I'm trying to get some money and trying to get some of Alphabet's money. So this week I'm talking about jealousy versus envy. A lot of the times these things are interchangeable, but however, it's not always that easy. I got a little thing I'm gonna show. I'm gonna play a little. I gotta sped up a little so it won't drag on. So here we go.
Understanding jealousy and envy. What's the difference? Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into an important topic that pops up in friendships, work, and everyday life: jealousy versus envy. What do these feelings really mean, and how can we tell them apart? Let's explore what is jealousy. Picture this. Someone else has something you value, a relationship, success, or recognition, and you start to feel a twinge of resentment or even suspicion. That's jealousy at work. Jealousy is a feeling of bitterness or hostility towards someone who has something that you don't. It's not just about wanting what they have, often includes an element of fear or resentment that you might lose something important to you. The word jealous is the adjective form, and jealousy often surfaces in romantic relationships when one partner feels threatened by another. Attention or affection. What is envy? Now, let's talk about envy. Envy is a different kind of longing. You see something someone else has, maybe a talent, an opportunity, or a new car and you wish it was yours. It's less about hostility and more of a mix of admiration and discontent. Envy can be used as both a noun and a verb. For example, I envy your confidence. It's not always a compliment, but it isn't always as negative as jealousy either. The adjective form is envious, and you might hear people talk about an enviable skill or trait. Shakespeare and the color green. Ever heard the phrase green with envy or the green-eyed monster? Thanks to Shakespeare, both jealousy and envy are associated with the color green. In Othello, jealousy is called the green-eyed monster, which doth mock the meat it feeds on. So if you hear someone called green-eyed, they might not just be talking about eye color, it could mean jealousy. Key differences: focus. Jealousy is often directed at the person who has what you want. while envy is centered on the thing itself. Negativity. Jealousy can be more hostile or resentful, while envy is usually less malicious, sometimes even admiring. Usage. Jealousy is always a noun, but envy can be a noun or a verb. Context. Jealousy is often used in the context of relationships, especially romantic ones. Quiz time. Let's see how well you can tell jealousy and envy apart. Your coworker gets a raise and you wish you had it too? Is that jealousy or envy? Final thoughts. Both jealousy and envy are natural emotions, but understanding their differences can help us manage our feelings and communicate more clearly. So next time you feel a little green, pause and ask yourself, is it jealousy or envy? Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on emotions and relationships.
That was refreshing. Now I'm gonna go to Big Dabs from the 206. The example they used in the video about a coworker getting a raise, was that jealousy or envy?
Well, let's see. The coworker. I would say the guy was jealous. He got a raise, he
Okay,
didn't,
okay. And why is that?
because he got a raise and he didn't. So he was jealous of his raise.
Well, does that kind of, I
But,
understand what you're saying, but that kind of take, I had it backwards. I used to think envy was worse than jealousy, but according to
oh
what I
no,
researched, jealousy is worse than envy.
yeah.
Yeah, he could be jealous, but what you ask the guy is, are you did you do the work?
Oh yeah,
If it ain't your cousin, it ain't your sister, brother, whatever, did you do the work to get that? Then you could be upset. But if you didn't do the work, you shouldn't be jealous or you shouldn't be envious. Because that implies that implies that you don't think yourself enough. Cousin
right.
Scott, what about you? What do you think?
So I think that maybe the person could be envious. It could be envy. People get accolades and recognition sometimes, and sometimes we don't get it, and we feel a little envious. And I can personally say that there are times when I see my coworkers get accolades, and I think, "Wow, I wish that were me." I think that's just envy. I don't think that's necessarily jealousy, and that I'm bitter or I'm angry because of anything. I'm just like, "Wow, I wish that was me." You know. So
I got you. I got you. I appreciate that. Big Al,
Yeah.
um, I don't know if you heard the example, but if a coworker got a raise, I know you double retired, so you ain't living that life. But if a coworker gets a raise and you didn't, would you be jealous or envious?
Uh, my personality, I don't think either one, because if the person warranted the raise, if they did something to um, be rewarded for the raise, and then the government, as you and I have both worked in, there are incremental raises, what we call within grade step increases. So if you're in the government, you come in as a GS 15, you're going to start as a step one. In 2 years, you're going to be a step two. So those are incremental raises that are built in. But I'm a person that believes that, what's for me is for me. And if somebody gets a promotion, then I'm happy for them. I don't think I would be envious or jealous. I would just be happy for them.
Now, a lot of times, and I agree with you, with the step increases, you can also get a merit step. And some people might be jealous because they think that somebody else should somebody else should have it, and they should have it over somebody else. But it's a whole bunch of factors behind that. But it doesn't, jealousy really doesn't do anything but get you worse than the person you're after. It's like having a bag of hot coal and picking up and throwing at them. Yeah, you may hit, you may miss, but you're still burning yourself. Um, Chocolate Pearl, have you had an instance in a job or situation where somebody was jealous or envious of you?
Um, can't think of nothing right now, but I know there was plenty.
Do you have any examples?
There's plenty. But I can't think of a situation at the moment. Well,
Okay. Okay.
no.
What about you, Miss Kim?
Um, I don't know. Probably, well, I like to dress up at times at work. And I do remember an incident at not this job, but a previous job where I was told I need to change my way of dress. And I'm like, why? And it was like, we don't want to have to dress like you dress, meaning professional. So it was a little bit of envious, I guess, jealousy about the style that I brought forth into the new company. So they wanted me, the way they put it, tone it down,
That sound
which
like
I
I
was, uh,
was about to say that sound like something what would happen to Chocolate Pearl because y'all have very similar tastes.
right. But yeah, I was told to tone it down, or either, especially once I moved to Virginia, um, I've been told that in two workplaces.
And
Yeah.
and here's the deal is that, and I ain't got no stat. I'm usually one with the stats, the all that other good stuff, but I can't prove this. But I can say that with women, it's a lot different than it is with guys because usually people are jealous if you look better than them or they think you look better than them or you're getting more attention than them.
Well, a guy told me, it was a guy told me that I needed to tone it down because they didn't want to have to,
To
they
work
wanted
is
to
hard.
continue wearing their jeans and t-shirts. They didn't want to have to dress up.
Yeah, that's kind of, well, I'll leave it at that. I understand. My resident thespian, Miss Sum Sum. What about you?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if this classifies as being jealous or envious, but growing up, I had a learning disability. So I used to always look at the other kids and be like, dang, they're getting it, they're getting good grades, and I'm over here struggling. So I used to be in all kind of special education classes and all that good stuff. And I used to be embarrassed and stuff, but I always used to be, I don't know if you want to call it jealous or envious, but I used to always look at the other kids and be like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I comprehend and absorb things the way other people did? So that's something that I've always, not now, but growing up in school, I used to deal with. So
I gotta say something. I was the opposite. I was always in the gifted and talented, and I wanted to be normal, what I considered normal. I was not ashamed, but I felt that I didn't belong with um I didn't belong with the gifted and talented, even though my grades said I did, and my work ethic that said I did. I didn't have the confidence in myself to believe that. So I was jealous of the normal kids. Well, regular ed kids, mainstream. So it doesn't matter if you're in special needs type courses, resource type courses, or AP or IB type classes. You always, a lot of times we look at what we don't have instead of thinking about what we have. We get jealous over somebody who we perceive that's better than us, and it's not what they're doing, it's our insecurities. So we do get, and when people, you have to remember that when people are coming after you like that, and they really don't have a reason, is they're insecure with themselves because they can't do what you do, or they don't do it as well as you do, or they're trying to knock you down to their level so they can feel comfortable, or they're trying to put you down to make themselves look better. Now, I know everybody in here can say that in one way or another that's happened to them in their lives. Um, we we have to be careful in who we are around and when information gets out there, because some people think you think they're your friend, but they don't. They talk behind your back, and they loudmouth, they bad mouth you to the boss, and the boss looking at you crazy, and you doing your job. That's jealousy. Envy would be like, man, like, I'm envious. I can't dunk like Michael Jordan, or when he in his prime. I can dunk, but I wasn't that artistic in the air and stuff like that. So, but I mean, hell, I would love to have his money. I wouldn't want to have his problems though. Because it's special type of things. Just like, we look at people, we look at celebrities, and we look at the glamour of their life, but we envy the glamour. We don't envy the rest of the stuff that they go through, the scrutiny, the everybody's putting your name in everybody's mouth, whether you know them or not. They're looking at your choices and trying to draw conclusions of a person that may not even be you. You wouldn't even, sometimes people talk about you and you don't even recognize who they talking about. You think they're talking about somebody else. Those things happen, but a lot of us, when we're
I
insecure,
think that's with
or
me.
say that again, Chocolate
I
Pearl.
think that's the situation with me. That's why I know there was plenty of people who disliked me for whatever reason, but they were jealous of me. But then also, I think there were people who was jealous of me and I didn't know it. I'm thinking
Right.
they talking about somebody else or what have you. Because I try to be nice to everybody until you get on my bad side. But I think that's with every human being. However, I try to be as nice and everything. Some people get jealous of how I dress. Some people get jealous of how my body parts look, you know. But that's something I can't help. So it doesn't bother me if someone gets jealous. They always, people talk about you in a bad way. They talked about Jesus and he's our savior. You know what I mean? So it's to me, it's not a big thing anymore. As long as you do not get so jealous to where you're trying to ruin my reputation or you're trying to ruin my ability to keep my job or stuff like that. I don't care if you get jealous.
Now, no, I understand that. Here's here's something here's something that we can look at as a form of jealousy and envy, with the president. And the president, this is not conjecture. It's actually, we've seen it with our own eyes and heard it with our own ears, is that he's very thin-skinned. And if he thinks somebody's getting more attention than him, then he's going to do things to knock them down. For example, when he had his special advisor there, and everybody was calling him the real president, the president got very upset, and he made moves to get rid of him because nobody was going to outshine him. And with his ways of taking credit for things he hadn't done and blaming everything that goes wrong with from what he's done, that is a form of jealousy, because he wants people to love him, he wants people to worship him, but he's not, his actions his actions create more problems than they solve. Um, do y'all know any other type of situation besides the president that you could say look at jealousy and
But
envy,
this
or
is the
very
thing,
jealous
he is
and
the
small, spiteful
worst.
person? Anybody? Okay.
I'm thinking the thing that popped in my mind, and I don't know, I gotta look more into it, but I believe the story of the singer Selena
Mm-hmm.
and how she the lady Yolanda, who was her I don't know if she was
A
her,
fan, first
yeah, but
off,
she also helped them with their merchandise, I
finances and stuff.
believe,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
she
something
held
got
a
out of
fan
hand.
club.
Yeah, she was on the club, and I think that got a little out of hand. I don't know if she was obsessed with Selena. I don't know if she was jealous of her, but something consumed that lady to where ultimately Selena ended up passing. So
Yeah, that was the lady's name was Yolanda Sandoval. I remember because I was stationed in El Paso back then. And Selena was, Selena was real big in Texas. What happened was she was a member of one of her fan clubs, and then she got away to be the president to be close to her, and she started appropriating some funding for her own personal use from the fan club, and she got called out on it. And instead of just leaving and taking that L, she took it to the next level. And that does have a level of malevolence and insecurity, because that was the only way she was going to be famous, was by being near her. She wasn't going to be famous by herself. So when she felt she was about to lose that, she just crashed out, and unfortunately unalived her. And she's still in prison. I don't know if she ever getting out. If she in Texas, so she probably never get out. But yeah, that was one of those things. There was another one where I'm gonna tell you somebody who has a lot of pettiness and jealousy. Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent. Now, of course, you know, he started with Ja Rule, and that was something over Ja Rule had slept with his girlfriend, and now look who he's going after. He's going after Sean Combs, and it was because his ex-girlfriend was going to freak offs to get her rent paid. Now I think there are other ways to make money to pay your rent, but hey, I look there. She's an adult, but if you look at his career, what do you think, Apple? What do you think about his career? Has he always been sound like he's been jealous and petty?
I don't necessarily think it was jealousy. I think it was petty and stuff. But that was the premise he came out. Remember when he came out with that song where he was a stick up kid,
Yeah,
and if anybody had more than what he had, he was taking it. And now that he has, so much, he just never outgrew his pettiness. I don't think he was jealous or envious. He just, I don't know. He's very petty. He's so funny to me.
but a level of that pettiness it's gotta have a hint of jealousy or something like that.
Yeah, there may be a little bit of jealousy with it, but now I think he just likes to troll people in
I
life
agree
and
with that.
online. I think that makes him happy. It might have started out as jealousy or envy in the beginning, but now it's just straight, okay, you said something I don't like, now I'm gonna destroy your whole world.
I got you, Big Al.
Yeah, another example is Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And I didn't know about that beef and the back and forth and pettiness, sleeping with each other's ex-girlfriend until the Super Bowl. And my kids and grandkids would tell me that whole Super Bowl, the songs that Kendrick Lamar chose were all dissed, and they were aimed specifically at Drake. So that's another one where there's petty jealousy and envy, where two men are sleeping with each other's ex-girlfriends and doing diss songs to put the other person down.
He actually had Scissor on the at the Super Bowl, who
Yeah,
was Drake's ex-girlfriend.
yeah.
as well as Serena Williams.
Serena Williams too.
Yeah.
It some.
No, I was just gonna say, also too, I remember that rumor where, and God bless, I'm so happy for her. From what I can see, Sierra, when she was with Future in the beginning, she had a child with Future, and that didn't work out, and then she ended up with Russell Wilson, and it seems like they have just been soaring ever since. And I believe in the beginning of their relationship, Future had some rough things to say about her, and all of this and all of that, but she kind of just brushed that to the side and is just living her best life.
Future is a damaged a very, very damaged person. For he he actually he actually did ask Sierra to marry him, but I don't think Sierra thought he was serious, so she said no. And then when she got with Russell Wilson and became, you know, and got more into married life and had more and more kids, he couldn't help himself. His insecurity about not being able to maintain a family and just be making kids everywhere. He lashed out at Russell Wilson, but regardless of some people saying Russell Wilson's soft, he's still a professional athlete and he's still in top shape, and he could probably drop them dogs, but that's another story. Um, let's see. Cousin Scott. Um,
Imagine that.
you
Imagine that.
you live in Atlanta, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the Atlanta area. What do you think about like stuff with the Real Housewives? Because that's a lot of jealousy and envy and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know much about that, but I'd say uh, I'm quite sure there's a lot of pettiness, and that's what sells. That's what gets ratings. They're not going to get ratings by getting along and being sweet to one another and, and praising each other and and praising God. They get ratings by uh, hating on each other. And I'm quite sure there is a lot of pettiness and a lot of jealousy between the stars of that show. And like I said, that's what sells. People want to see drama. People want to see drama. And so that you see that, and it's unfortunate because it kind of it encourages that in our culture because people think that they normalize jealousy. Like, well, she thinks she all that. Like when you hear a woman say that about another woman, she thinks she all that, and then that normalizes it to a point where people will think that's the normal behavior. That's normal behavior, and it's really not. It's not acceptable or normal behavior. It is what it is, but it's not necessary. You can't normalize, what's wrong. You shouldn't be hating on people because they got it going on or they got their act together. But you see that in shows like Housewives and things of that nature. So yeah, that's my take on it.
So I get you. So let me ask a woman, Chocolate Pearl, why do women find those type of shows exciting?
As we like drama.
Okay, please expound to the people with the less estrogen.
Well, and I'm speaking for what I have experienced. I'm not saying that's necessarily me, because I really don't like a lot of drama. Um, because well, now I don't. I know before maybe, but now I don't. Because as you get older, just it's too much. But we like drama because we don't have nothing else to do. A lot of men don't want to talk to us. They don't want to sit with us. So we go find something else to do. And just like when we used to watch soap operas. Remember when everybody used to watch soap operas? You watch that for the drama. So
Yep.
we need more information and more excitement in our lives without us actually being a part of that excitement. You know what I mean?
I think I understand.
It's just like reading romance novels and stuff like that. We just watch it on TV for the drama, the thrill, the excitement. Not necessarily wanting drama in our life, but just for entertainment purposes.
The fashion.
I feel like the drama too. I want to
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Why don't you just watch sports like men do?
I watch sports too. I'm versatile.
It's not drama filled like it is on those what they call it. I call them fight shows because all them housewife
That's all
shows
they
they
do
do
is
nothing but
fight.
fight.
Basketball wives, all that bad girls, all that stuff.
All that, nothing but fighting. And a lot of men are into it too. It's not just women, but I was just speaking on experience for women that we like drama. We need some entertainment in our lives, and then this a lot of times men don't pay us no attention, so we have to find something to do, and that's one of the biggest
Men do
things.
pay
Huh?
attention, but
ain't no real
what
men
y'all
like
like is
husbands.
not necessarily what men like.
Yeah. Well, no,
So that's no, I understand what you're saying. You have a valid point. I'm just saying that a lot of things that women enjoy, men, men less so
right.
because we could sit by ourselves and just
Same
chill.
thing with sports. We know
Yeah,
about sports, but we don't necessarily want to watch it as much as men do.
yeah. That's fair. That is fair. But that's a lot of times. So let me ask a question, and this is kind of on the subject. Why do women always want to talk during sports? Any woman?
Just like I said, y'all don't pay us enough attention, so we got to find it some kind of way. And if we're gonna get the attention from y'all, we're gonna find a way to get it.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I mean, we wouldn't do that. Guys would not do that. Get in front of you while you're watching Real Housewives of Okeechobee or
Yes, y'all do.
Country Wives.
I was
Ah,
about to say, yes, y'all do.
And we hiding
come
in
in
other
and be
rooms.
like, well,
Okay,
why they do that? Well, what's going on?
exactly.
But
Uh,
Exactly.
but the thing is though, that's
I don't give
different.
a hell.
That's different from you standing in front of the TV if I'm playing my game or I'm watching the game.
Well, I'm speaking for me. First of all, the sports and all of that stuff. I mean, I watch boxing, but football and stuff, I just it's the same old plays. They take
Yep.
something that could be 4 minutes left in the game could turn into a half an hour. It don't
nah,
make
Yep.
no
I like
sense.
my sports some. I like
Well,
my
I no,
football. I like
I'm
my
speak, I'm
basketball.
speaking for me. I'm speaking for me.
I'm with you, some.
I cannot comprehend what you see in it. So for me, it doesn't hold importance. Now it's important to you, that's your thing. But sometimes in my mind, I might slip up and say, Rome, are we still going over here on Wednesday or something? Not thinking that he's in the game because in my mind, it doesn't hold any type of importance. I don't get it. There's nothing that I can relate to it by. It doesn't hold my interest. So I'm just talking just to be, you know what I mean? Not thinking that I'm interrupting anything at all. That's just me.
Okay. Okay. Now here's another one in the movies. Us melanated folks like to talk during movies. I can't hold you. We all do that. But why do we talk? Why do we want to have conversations during the movie?
I don't
I
talk
don't
I
know
don't
why
know
they
during
why
want to
you
have
have
movies.
conversations
conversations.
during the movie, but I can understand talking to the movie.
Yeah, talking to the
That's a
movie, but
difference.
not
It's a
talking.
It's a
difference.
difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is it reminds me of when I was a teenager and me and my boys went with some ladies to a movie theater and I'm sitting in my seat next to my boy Macho, and I'm eating popcorn, and this girl, ironically, her name was Kim. She's sitting behind us. She's talking about, I wish I had some popcorn. I'm eating my popcorn. I wish I had some popcorn. So I turned around and said, I wish you had some popcorn too, so you can shut up while I'm watching the movie. I was 18. I was
I knew that was
18.
coming.
So I had zero chill. I had zero chill, but yeah, sometimes we look at jealousy and envy and it kind of bleeds over into different stuff. If we're not getting the attention we've seen, we get envious. You're giving this thing, you're giving this thing more attention than you're giving me. So I'm envious of that. So I'm going to find a way to insert my way into that so I can have your attention. Maybe not for long. I just want your attention. And that's more of an everyday thing. Go ahead, Miss Sum Sum.
No, I was just going to say with reality TV, movies, whatever the case may be, I think we are very boisterous when it comes to certain things because we find certain things to be very stupid. And so when the lady fell in the woods for the third time, tripping over branches and stuff like that, I mean, it's just like, it's frustrating and it's stupid and we just got to say something about it because we're tired of seeing it. And
Yep, I know I
and
do.
you know what I'm saying, and then
Yeah,
don't get me started,
especially,
and
but
don't even
that,
get me started on those court
Uh,
shows where the people come on there and they just up there just sounding just as ignorant as the day is long without all of the information and the facts and everything. And you just like, come on, man, you know better than that.
oh
So
yeah.
so that's just frustrating. And then for the housewives coming up there just talking behind each other back in front of the camera. For the life of me, you setting your own self up. So again, it's for we say things and we very boisterous about what we see because it's stupid and we can't fan them for the life of us.
It's not going to be
Why
playing
these
later
people?
on.
Yes, come on now. For the life of us, why they doing this in front of the camera?
Because they
Stupid.
gotta have something for the reunion show to replay.
Because they know
Exactly.
you're
And then
watching. That's why.
they type one another and be like, you said it when you have the little
Exactly.
cameo and it's
And then
gonna be
here
They
replayed.
go the
wouldn't have the
man.
So it's
drama.
all for the
They wouldn't be
ratings.
watching.
Exactly. And then here go the host talking about, well, let's roll that footage back and see exactly what she said.
Exactly.
And then it just
Exactly.
caught all in that. I mean, come on now.
And if they don't roll it back, y'all gonna rewind it.
Yeah, they do stuff like that though. It's crazy
Uh,
because you know there's always like most of those reality shows have different types of people. You have and it doesn't matter what color they are. They all have everybody has a role. One's going to be the constant crap starter, starting crap. If something starts to get boring, they start doing stuff to get so they can get attention and get crap started. You got one that plays the peacemaker. They cool with everybody, but they're just trying to hold everything together. Then you have the crash out. Everybody knows the crash out when they see them because they're gonna crash out and don't get them any alcohol in them. And then you got the followers of the crash out or the followers of the crap starter. And those are mainly the archetypes of those reality shows. Even on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, I'll be like, dude, why are you crying? She's sleeping, she's seeing 13 guys. Why are you crying?
Exactly. Exactly. And then don't even get me started on they pick the worst people to interview on the news. The most ignorant person off the side of the road that don't know how to speak, that just be fumbling over their words. It's just terrible. And that's what makes me yell at the screen because I'm like, oh Lord, here we go again.
Said, hide your kids, hide your mama. They raping everybody.
Yes.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, that's true. But that's how you get the sound bites, and that's how people get famous for being as ignorant, as lowbrow, as as possible so that they're not. But then we kind of get it, we kind of envious of that because we're wondering, this person ain't got no talent. How the hell they got a TV show and I ain't got a TV show? Stuff like that. That's how that ties into envy and jealousy. Because some of us be looking at, have you ever looked at somebody on TV and just be like, I can do better than that. They trash. Everybody has that. Even if you can, you can. If you can't, you still gonna say they trash. But that's why in the video they were saying that it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that it is. Because you're wondering why did, stuff people you think they don't deserve that stuff, but they go on and do it. They we just gotta be careful on ourselves on how we conduct ourselves because hell, you can be envious, but don't be that person that you know 20 years ago we use the word hater a lot. Why are you hating? Why are you hating? And it got misconstrued over the years to where if you say anything I don't like, you hating. Now that ain't it. Hating is actively going against something that you are trying to stop your shine. That's
Oh,
jealousy.
you're on mute though, Mom. You're not on mute. What? You're not on mute.
Yeah, Miss Dream, you're not on mute.
Sorry, Dre. I can't
All right,
find the
all
mute
right,
button.
all
Oh
right,
wait, I
baby
found it.
bear.
Okay.
So what's going on? Well, since you had the mic unmuted, Miss Dream, tell me what do you think the difference between jealousy and envy is?
Um, Jealousy is like when somebody like wants what you have and is like mad about it. Envious is like they I mean, it's in the word. I can't really. They envy what you want, but they're not like. I don't think it's like a rage or anger. It's more so like a, okay, I want what this person wants. Like I think I'm just a girl.
Well, you had it. That's the way I thought, but when I did my research, it's actually
It's
the
the
opposite.
opposite. Oh, period, poo. I didn't
Yeah.
even know.
So that's pretty much what I thought too until I actually did the research. So don't be
So you have
upset.
to start yapping. You have to.
Pretty
Yeah, keep going.
great minds think screwy.
Yeah.
But so okay, baby bear, did you what about you? Have you had a chance with somebody who was jealous of you or envious of you?
Yeah.
Could you go into it?
I mean, I don't know. All my experiences, it'd be like boys who be jealous of me. Like the boys I date, they low key be like jealous of what I have. But maybe that's just because they're, losers. They have got nothing to do with me. But yes,
So why are you dating losers?
I mean, no, I'm just saying like they thought,
I'm just listening to what you say.
they thought Charles was jealous of me. But I don't know. My mom low-key said she thought Raekwon was jealous of me. But I'm not really, but I don't think he's jealous of me. I just think what's the word? He likes where I come from. And I just feel like he doesn't know how to express that. And it comes off as jealousy. But I don't think he's jealous of me.
Okay. Okay. He might be envious of where you at.
Isn't that even worse?
'Cause- no, because hell, when I grew up in the projects and we would go to my uncle's house in the suburbs, hell, I was envious because they had a house with grass
Yeah,
and
maybe that's what it is. He'd be a little envious, but like I don't think it's like in a way of like we're in competition. I think it's like
yeah, no, it's
well,
not it's not competition. I'm just saying, our cousins that lived out there, they had a yard, they had nice stuff, and we was living in the projects. We go out there, it was
Two
like,
cars and a
yeah.
dog.
So though I understand where Chef is coming from, because
yeah.
I've been
See, and
there.
my mom just doesn't understand, and she doesn't give people grace, and I just don't understand why not.
Oh, I don't give people grace.
I mean, you do, but mom, not him.
Whatever.
You're here
But
because
that's,
of Grace. My
but that's what happens though, is, a lot of times when you go somewhere that you've never really been, you get envious like, dang, gone. People got stuff. Especially us melanated folks.
I think
Um,
that's what it is.
yeah, when we when you live in New York, you live, especially if you lived in the projects in New York, anywhere else that was outside the projects, we called the country. You know how we called the country? Because they had actual front doors. They had
Real
grass.
grass that they could walk on.
Yeah.
It's not
So
fenced. The grass is not fenced.
Corridor.
a screen door. I ain't, first time I saw a screen
Mm-hmm.
door, I didn't know what it was. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. I used to,
You
my
gotta
best friend Will
point
could
it on
tell you,
something
his now
where
wife, they used to live in a project, and they moved out to South Ozone Park out there in Jamaica, Queens. And I used to I used to just stand in front of the screen door, just looking out the door, because I never thought I'd be able to do that. Because my grandmothers lived in apartments, my aunts and uncles lived in apartments. I ain't really know nothing about that. So I was envious of that, but being a homeowner, you realize that it ain't as fun as you thought it was going to be. But
I
that's
heard today, listening to a interview with Ali Sadiq. I think it was Big Boy, and they was talking about owning a house. When they grew up, they didn't know nothing about owning no house. And then when they got a house, they tell people don't buy a house because when you buy a house, it's yours, your responsibility, your breakdown,
Yeah.
your fix it, your this. With an apartment, somebody else's responsibility to fix it.
yep.
Yeah, we didn't know about that when we grew up. But back to the jealousy thing, people tend to get jealous also um, by not telling others about what they have per se. If there's some information that you need to know and you knew it benefited you, why not share it with someone else so it could benefit them? There's a lot of jealousy in our communities that we hold back information because we don't want nobody else to glow up.
That
Right.
is so true, Chocolate Pearl. That is so true.
And but that's, if you have to put somebody else down to to make yourself feel better, that's worse. That's insecurity, because you should be able to stand on your own too, stand at 10 toes and handling your own business. I mean, I'm happy when my friends do well, because we all eat, and that gets them out of my pocket.
Exactly. Why not share the wealth? Why not share the information so
Yeah.
everybody can, grow together instead of always trying to grow us apart and be separate entities of life. We if we all can share the knowledge of how to prosper in our lives, I don't think we will have the Trumps in the world.
Well, unfortunately, we don't here in this United States of America, we don't think like that. So we're going to always come up come up short, because we don't think community, we think individual, even though in our communities, as we had some unity, because we came together, because we couldn't do it by ourselves. Now everybody thinks they can do it themselves. Everybody, I mean, think about this. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, in the early 2000s, and even before that, most of the music was made by what? Groups. It was teams, there were groups. And name one group today. Anybody?
Hmm.
I'm talking about
Good
that came
question.
out in the last 10 years.
That's a good question.
I don't think there is none.
No, that's
See some
What
people
was the
coming back.
question?
Just
I
them,
missed
just
it.
them, just them
New
K-pop
edition,
kids.
Yeah, the K-pop people.
Yeah,
new
that's about it.
edition.
Well, New Edition came out 41 years ago. I know because I was there.
So within the last 10 years.
Yeah, but they broke
Even
up and came back together.
no, that don't count.
But
And
I'm
so they
talking
don't
about the
count,
last
right?
10 years.
Right. He said the last 10 years.
The last 10 years, name one group that came out as a group.
I can't
Can't
name
name.
none.
Nothing important. Nobody important.
I can't think of nobody.
Name a rap group that came out in the last 10 years.
Oh, geez.
Oh, it's not a rap group.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang was 30,
Uh-uh.
30 years
They,
ago.
30 years ago. Yeah.
mm-mm.
Oh, that's right. You said the last 10 years.
Yes. Yes. I mean,
Nobody.
every group that we know of or that
The,
broke up and got back together started
Yeah.
in the
Who's
late in the 90s, the 80s,
the
90s, early
Migos.
2000s.
You heard me?
So who?
The Migos.
Okay, the Migos. That's one group. That's one group. And look how far down we had to dig for that. So we've gone from community because what happens is once you get successful, when you all struggling, everybody's cool. But once you get successful, people's heads get big. Because I don't know if y'all remember the Temptations miniseries, the Temptations movie,
Yeah. I love it.
when they came up together and then David Ruffin was like, yo, I'm bigger than the group. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. It gets like that. You hear your name getting
Yeah, it
screamed
does.
out.
When people things go to their head, yeah.
And
So
that's something similar happened to the group, the Migos. Offset married Cardi B, and he got more popular than the other two. And then that caused discord within the group
and then
and
Takeoff got
jealousy.
Takeoff
Actually, the
got in
Amigos
line.
came out in 2008 back in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Well, they
Okay,
became popular less than 10 years ago. Even
but
though,
that's but
if you lived in Georgia, you knew about them. But I'm talking about like nationwide or worldwide. They weren't known until about,
probably about 2013, 2014.
right.
Yeah. 2013.
But what I'm saying is that things that we used to do, we don't do anymore because of jealousy and envy. If I'm getting, if we are part of a group and we coming up and Chocolate Pearl's getting all the love, I'm gonna feel some kind of way. I'll probably be jealous, not envious. I'll be jealous. Like, why is she getting all the love, even though she may be the best singer and the best dancer and the most photogenic? But that's what happened. People don't go through that anymore because everybody going for self. We don't look at bringing things together. We look at what we can get out of it and who we can get it from. But that's why we don't have. That's why organizations like the NAACP is not the way they used to. The Southern, you know, the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Council, all those groups, those civil rights groups, they're not as effective anymore because people don't think they represent the people. They think they represent themselves. But how can we as a people overcoming our tendency to get jealous of people who we perceive are doing better than us? How can we what's one or two ways we can look to fix that?
Love yourself.
Yourself.
Say that again?
Love yourself.
Yeah, love
If you
yourself,
love
but
yourself enough, you don't have to worry about being jealous of anybody. If you're a person who is motivated and can and know what they worth, they ain't gotta be jealous of nobody and nothing.
yeah, and share the knowledge. Somebody earlier said about we don't share knowledge. Um, I can give you all the knowledge that I have, but if you don't use it, that's not on me. I've given you the tools. You got to pick them up you got to pick them up and learn your way through. I can advise you, I can teach you, I can coach you, I can mentor you, and I do that. However, if your results are strictly your own, your results are strictly on because only you can make those moves and get up there to that level. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Because a
In
lot of
here.
times, and I'm just saying this as a, not an aside, but a lot of times we don't look at what we have in reference to we want to be made president on the first day. We ain't coming in unless we feel we get the level we think we deserve, whether we earned it or not. And sometimes we tend to try to keep people down because we know that they're better than us in that particular, instead of nurturing them and making them better, we try to find ways to keep them down, but use them to elevate ourselves. And that's the worst kind of jealousy. Because you would want the people following you to be better off and better than you. You want to train them to be better than you because you're not going to be able to do what you do forever. And you want to make sure that it's in good hands. And Miss Nikki said in YouTube land, she said, improve yourself. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Yeah, you're never gonna keep up with the Joneses because they're always gonna have something a little bit better than you. So as we come to a close of another show, another wonderful show, and I thank everybody for coming on and being close. I'm going to pass it off to Chocolate Pearl so she can give a few pearls of wisdom. I think I'm gonna make that part of the show. Chocolate pearls of wisdom.
If you don't care about people talking about you or anything negative, if you love yourself enough, you won't have to worry about the jealousy or the envy, but just keep your eyes open for the green eye monsters that are still out there. You still need to protect yourself. But if you're a person that doesn't deal with jealousy and envy, don't forget to share the wealth, the knowledge,
That's
because
what's
we
up.
can make our yeah, we can make our communities grow with that information.
That's
That's
what's
all
up.
I
That's
have for tonight.
really
What'd you say?
no, I said that's outstanding. Apple,
I think if you instead of being jealous or envious to anyone, I mean everyone's human, but I think if you strive to be better, there's no reason to, like Pearl said, there's no reason to be jealous of anyone. If you see something that someone has and you may want that for yourself, you have to work at it and maybe you can get it too. That was always my model. Like if I see something, like say someone had a car and I didn't have a car and I wanted a car, I'm not going to be jealous that they have a car. I might be a little envious because I have to take public transportation while they get to drive everywhere. But then I know that, okay, they have a car, I'm going to get a car too. I don't know if that makes me sound jealous, but
nah, that's kind of envious, but I mean that's an
yeah,
okay
that's what I said.
thing.
It's maybe a little envious, but that just makes me want to do better in life. If I see something that someone achieved and I haven't yet achieved it, I I I think with jealousy, I think it's more bitterness and anger behind it. And with envy, I think there's more maybe sadness, like damn, they have it, I can do it too, maybe. And I think that gives you motivation. Some people.
Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's a ladies and gentlemen, that's apple seeds. Apple seed from apple. See, I got you. I got you. Well, I want to, like I said, I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight. Everyone who had a chance to say something and do something and be able to give their points across. Come join us next week when we talk about something else, I'll let y'all know. But until then, I'm gonna say if you can't laugh at yourself, find somebody else to laugh at.
On the behalf of myself, DFG, Chocolate Pearl, Apple, and Bean, we want to thank you for watching our show. Please come back, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.